on Goblin Reddit. Today's story is...
My sister pretended that our whole family was dead for 18 years. When her children found me by accident, 3 family secrets came to light, and everything changed. I never imagined I would share this story, much less live it, but recent events have plunged me into a situation I never anticipated, and I need to vent. This story spans almost 2 decades and involves deception, betrayal, and a divided family seemingly beyond reconciliation. I don't know exactly where to start, so I'll start from the beginning. I grew up in a typical middle-class family. My sister Melissa and I were close, or at least I thought we were. We shared everything, from secrets to dreams for the future. Our parents worked hard to support us, teaching us values such as hard work, humility, and the importance of family. However, as we grew older, our paths began to diverge. I pursued a career in engineering, working hard to climb the ladder from entry-level positions. Melissa, on the other hand, took a completely different path. She dropped out of college after her first year, claiming it wasn't for her. She started jumping from job to job, never really settling into anyone. Despite her lack of direction, our parents continued to support her financially well into her 20s, paying her rent, car payments, and even covering her frequent impulse purchases. I felt frustrated. I felt that I was making a huge effort, working hard, and making my way in the world, while Melissa was content to let herself be carried along, depending on our parents. But I preferred to keep quiet. I didn't want to create tension or conflict in our family. Besides, I loved Melissa and thought that maybe she would eventually find her way. Everything changed when Melissa met James. He worked in finance and came from a wealthy family. From the moment they started dating, Melissa's attitude changed radically. She became distant and, frankly, arrogant. It wasn't long before she started bragging to anyone willing to listen about how wonderful her life was, how they were constantly traveling to luxurious destinations or dining at the best restaurants. Our parents, who had been her safety net for years, were suddenly cast aside, no longer needed now that she had found someone else to support her. After 2 years of dating, James proposed. Melissa was ecstatic, immediately going into wedding planning mode. And as you might expect, the celebration she envisioned was nothing short of extravagant. She wanted a designer dress, a castle as the venue for the ceremony, and a guest list of over 300 people, many of whom were acquaintances rather than true friends. Our parents, already financially stretched, were expected to cover the costs. Melissa insisted it was her duty to give him the wedding of his dreams, even though James's family had more than enough capacity to cover the costs. When our parents kindly suggested something more modest, something more in line with their means, Melissa flew into a rage. She accused them of not loving her enough and of not caring about her happiness. She even threatened to run away if she didn't get her way. Our parents, exhausted and desperate to keep the peace, finally gave in. They took out a second mortgage on their house to cover the costs, and, despite my better judgment, I contributed too. At the time, I thought it was the least I could do to help my parents, although inside I was seething with frustration. The wedding was a lavish affair, as you would expect. Melissa walked down the aisle in a dress that cost more than my annual salary, and the whole celebration seemed like something out of a movie. I felt like a stranger in my own family, relegated to the background while Melissa reveled in her new life with James. He treated our parents and me like servants, giving orders and reprimanding us whenever something wasn't exactly to his liking. It was painful to witness, but I still clung to a small hope that, once the wedding was over, things would return to normal, but it wasn't to be. The day after the ceremony, Melissa and James left on a month-long honeymoon to the Maldives. I thought we would hear from her when they returned, but the silence was deafening. Weeks and then months went by without a word from Melissa. Our calls went unanswered, our text messages were ignored, and the emails bounced back. My parents, devastated by the lack of communication, couldn't understand what had gone wrong. I was furious. After all we had done for her, after all the sacrifices our parents had made to give her the wedding she wanted, Melissa had apparently cut us out of her life without so much as a goodbye. 3 months after the wedding, we finally received a reply from her. The message was cold and dismissive. "I want no further contact with you. James and I have decided to start our new life together without the burden of my old family. Please respect our wishes and do not try to contact us again." I was stunned. We were the burden. Our parents were heartbroken, and I was furious. How could she do this to us after all we had done for her? I felt betrayed and powerless. The years that followed were filled with pain and confusion. My parents aged rapidly, their health deteriorated, under the stress of losing their daughter. Despite my best efforts to support them, nothing could fill the void Melissa had left. They tried to communicate again and again, but Melissa's silence remained unbroken. Over time, I built my own life. I got married, had 2 beautiful children, and focused on my career. I paid off all my parents' debts. But the absence of my sister always lingered in the back of my mind, a wound that never completely healed. Mom and Dad passed away without seeing Melissa again. It broke my heart to watch them die with unhealed hearts, still hoping for a reconciliation that would never come. Then one day, out of the blue, I received a message on social media. It was from a young woman called Emma, who claimed to be Melissa's daughter. At first, I was skeptical, but the photo she sent, a family picture with Melissa, James, and their 2 children, was undeniable. Emma explained that she and her brother Tyler had always been curious about their mother's family. Melissa had told them that we were dead, that her family had passed away long before they were born, but Emma had recently discovered some old photos and documents that contradicted her mother's story. Now she wanted to know the truth. I didn't know what to do. Part of me wanted to protect Emma and Tyler from the ugliness of the past, while another part of me was angry that Melissa had lied to them for so long. After much deliberation, I decided to tell them the truth, but I was careful. I presented the facts as I knew them, avoiding judgment or showing bitterness. I told them about our childhood, about our parents, and about the events that led to this estrangement. I shared photos, stories, and memories of their grandparents, hoping to give them a sense of the family they never knew. Emma and Tyler were shocked by what they learned. They couldn't believe their mother had lied to them for so long, and they were furious with her. They asked me countless questions, wanting to understand why their mother had cut their family off so cruelly. Over the next few weeks, our conversations deepened. I found myself growing attached to them, feeling like I was finally reconnecting with the part of my family that I thought I had lost forever. Then one day I received a message from James. He had found out what Emma and Tyler had learned, and he was not happy. James had believed a story similar to the one Melissa had told the children, that his family had died, that there was no one left to communicate with. And when he discovered the truth, he was furious. He confronted Melissa, and the result was immediate. James felt betrayed, realizing that the woman he had married had been lying to him for almost 2 decades. Emma and Tyler, equally devastated, told their mother that they wanted nothing to do with her. Cornered, Melissa fought back. She sent me a flood of angry messages accusing me of poisoning her family against her. She claimed that I had always been jealous of her, that I had twisted the truth to turn her husband and children against her. She even threatened legal action, demanding that I retract everything I had said to Emma and Tyler. I was stunned. I didn't expect this level of spite from Melissa, but I suppose I shouldn't have been surprised. After all, she had spent years walking away from the truth, from us, from anything that might complicate the perfect life she had built for herself. But now that life was falling apart, and she was looking to blame anyone but herself. As I write this, I am still trying to process everything that has happened. Emma and Tyler have asked to meet me in person, and James has contacted me to apologize for his role in keeping us apart for so long. Melissa, meanwhile, continues to send me messages, alternating between threats and pleas for me to fix the situation. I don't know what the future holds for our fractured family, but one thing is clear. The truth, painful as it is long overdue. I only wish our parents had lived long enough to meet their grandchildren and know that, even after all this time, the daughter they loved so much had not completely forgotten them. Update 1. I am honestly overwhelmed by the outpouring of support and advice I have received since sharing my story. The last 48 hours have been a whirlwind, and I wanted to take some time to provide an update. It has been a mix of emotional highs and lows, and while I am still processing everything, it helps to know that there are people out there who understand and care. For starters, many of you had really helpful suggestions and questions that I want to address. Many of you mentioned the importance of documenting everything, and that is exactly what I have done. I have saved all the messages and communications between myself, Melissa, James, and the children. I am keeping a detailed log, not only to protect myself, but because I feel like I need to be meticulous about this. Given Melissa's volatile responses and the threats she has made, I don't want to leave anything to chance. Some of you also suggested consulting a lawyer, something I haven't done yet, but I am seriously considering it. Melissa's threats of legal action, specifically for alienation of affection, have made me realize that I need to be prepared. I have already started looking into legal options in case things escalate further. Some of you were curious about our parents' inheritance, so I'll clarify here as well. They left everything in my name in their will. Melissa was explicitly disinherited due to her actions after the wedding. It wasn't something my parents took lightly, but they felt it was the right decision after she cut them off so coldly. I have kept everything they left behind, including family heirlooms, photos, and some personal letters that I hope to share with Emma and Tyler. I think they will want to see them when they are ready. Now, on to the most important development. I met Emma and Tyler in person for the first time yesterday. We agreed to meet in a quiet cafe in my town. James drove them there, but to give us some privacy, he stayed in the car. It was surreal to see them in real life. I had only ever seen photos of them up until that moment, so to see them face to face was a mixture of excitement and anxiety. Emma looked so much like Melissa at her age that it was like looking back in time. We spent hours talking. Emma and Tyler were full of questions about our family, our childhood, and especially about the grandparents they never got to meet. I didn't hold back. I wanted to give them as complete a picture as possible, without seeming like I was bad-mouthing their mother. I shared funny stories about growing up with Melissa, tales about our parents' quirks, and memories of family vacations. Both were so attentive, hanging on to every word as if they were trying to piece together the family they had been denied for so long. It was clear that both were struggling with their feelings towards Melissa. They were angry and hurt, but I could see how much they were also dealing with confusion and guilt. Emma told me that Melissa had always been a loving, if somewhat controlling, mother. Tyler admitted that he felt stifled by Melissa's expectations, but he had never dared to question her until now. Hearing the truth from me has shaken up their image of her, and I could see that they are torn between loyalty to the mother they have known and this new reality they are trying to understand. Emma confided something in me that really struck a chord. She has been accepted by several universities, including my alma mater, but she hasn't told Melissa yet. She has been hiding this from her mother because Melissa has been pressuring her to attend a school closer to home. It was a heartbreaking moment. I could feel how trapped Emma felt, wanting to please her mother but also longing for her own independence. Tyler shared something similar. He has been craving space to grow on his own, away from Melissa's suffocating expectations. Getting to know me and hearing these stories about a life outside the bubble that Melissa had built around herself seemed to give him some relief. Towards the end of our meeting, James joined us briefly. He apologized again for his role in keeping the family apart all these years. He explained that Melissa had told him a very different version of events, presenting herself as the victim, cut off from a cold and loveless family. He said he had been blind to her manipulation, wanting to believe the best of her, but now felt like a fool for not having questioned things sooner. He admitted that he had allowed her behavior in an effort to keep the peace, a decision he now deeply regrets. James also revealed something disturbing. Melissa had been contacting old friends, making up an elaborate story of how we, her family, had abandoned her after the wedding. She had been telling anyone who would listen that she had been cut off financially and emotionally, and that she had been forced to fend for herself. It was outrageous to hear that she was not only lying to her family, but also trying to rewrite history with anyone from her past who would listen. It made me realize that Melissa hadn't just moved on. She had created a completely false narrative to justify her actions. After we said goodbye, something incredible happened. I know this might sound a bit cheesy, but Emma asked if she could call me uncle from now on. I couldn't hold back the tears at that moment. We hugged, and in that moment I felt that a part of the family I had lost was coming back to life. It was as if I was getting back, not only my niece and nephew, but some part of the love and connection that I thought had died when my parents passed away. Not long after they left, my phone lit up with thousands of text messages from Melissa. Somehow, she had found out about our reunion. I suspect she tracked the children's phones. Emma mentioned that her mother had done this before, under the pretext of keeping them safe. The messages ranged from incoherent rants to tearful pleas, with more threats of legal action in between. She accused me of poisoning her family, of turning James and the children against her. It was an emotional roller coaster, and honestly, I couldn't respond. Melissa was desperate to regain control of the situation, but it's clear that she is losing control of everything she has built up over the years. In light of all this, I have decided to follow the advice that many of you gave me and consult a lawyer. I will meet with one next week to make sure I am protected and to see if Melissa's threats have any basis in truth. I want to make sure I am doing everything by the book, because the last thing I want is to be caught off guard by any legal maneuver on her part. Emma and Tyler have expressed a strong desire to keep in touch, and we've even planned another meeting for next week. This time, they want to come to my house, the house where Melissa and I grew up. They want to see where their mother spent her childhood and look at some of the family heirlooms I've kept, and maybe start to piece together their own understanding of the life that Melissa has kept hidden from them for so long. James has also been supportive of the children building a relationship with me, but I can see how divided he is. He is furious with Melissa, but he is also trying to maintain some semblance of normality for the sake of his marriage and the children. It's a delicate balance, and I can't help wondering how long this can last before everything really comes to a head. As for me, I am emotionally all over the place. There is the joy of reconnecting with Emma and Tyler, the anger towards Melissa for continuing to manipulate the lie, the guilt over the pain the truth is causing her children, and the pain of reliving the loss of my parents and the years of family connection we missed out on. I will keep you all updated as things progress, but for now, thank you again for your unwavering support. It means more than you can imagine. Update 2. Hello again, everyone. Things have been moving incredibly fast, and I felt it was important to get back in touch to keep you up to date on the latest developments. There is a lot to unpack, so bear with me. The planned meeting with Emma and Tyler at my house took place as scheduled. They arrived with James, who again waited in the car to give us some privacy, just as he had done during our first meeting. I invited him in, but he said he preferred it this way. The children seemed eager but nervous, excited to finally see the house where their mother had grown up and to look at the family memorabilia she had kept safe over the years. She had everything laid out: old photo albums, childhood school projects, and valuable family heirlooms. As we went through the photos and mementos, Emma and Tyler asked many questions about their mother's past. They were trying to understand how this seemingly happy girl in the photos had become the person they knew today. It was bittersweet for me to share those memories. I could see their curiosity mixed with sadness as they realized how little they really knew about Melissa's life before them. There was a part of her that they had been completely isolated from, and the weight of that hit them hard. Emma opened up more about her university situation. The reason Melissa had been pushing her to attend a ridiculously expensive university was because Melissa had convinced her that it was the only option to maintain the family status. Emma knew the family couldn't afford it and didn't even want to go there, but Emma confessed that she had been hiding her other acceptances, including my alma mater, and felt torn between following her dreams and appeasing her mother. The strain of living under Melissa's influence was becoming too much for her. Then things took a sharp turn. In the middle of our conversation, Tyler's phone rang. It was James, and his voice was frantic. Melissa had somehow found out that the children were with me, and she was on her way. Panicking, we rushed to gather up the photos and mementos, and urged the children to leave before she arrived. They had barely cleared the driveway when Melissa came speeding up, stopping her car right in front of my house. What followed was an absolute nightmare. Melissa stormed out of her car, marched up to my door, and started banging on it, screaming at the top of her lungs. Her accusations were wild. She claimed that I had kidnapped her children, that I was destroying her family and turning everyone against her. I could hear her voice breaking under the strain of her emotions, but I knew it was best not to get involved. I didn't open the door. Instead, I did what many of you had advised. I called the police. When the officers arrived, Melissa's tone changed dramatically. She tried to present herself as the victim, telling the police that I had kidnapped her children and was manipulating them. Fortunately, James had arrived for this moment and calmly explained the situation to the officers, backing up my side of the story and emphasizing that the children had chosen to spend time with me voluntarily. The police, after hearing both sides, gave Melissa a stern warning about making false claims and disturbing the peace. Eventually, they convinced her to leave, but the damage had already been done. Following this confrontation, several important things happened. James, finally at his breaking point, told Melissa he wanted a trial separation. He couldn't take the lies and manipulation anymore. So now, he has moved out and is staying in a hotel, giving himself some space to figure out his next steps. It was a heartbreaking decision for him, but I think he knew it was necessary. Meanwhile, enraged by everything that had happened, Emma finally confronted Melissa about her university choices. She told her mother about the other schools she had been accepted to and her desire to attend my alma mater. This sparked a massive argument, one that ended with Emma packing a suitcase and leaving home. She is staying with a friend for the time being, trying to clear her head and figure out what she wants to do next. Tyler, on the other hand, has become withdrawn. He is still staying with Melissa, but it is clear that he is struggling. He is caught in the middle, feeling torn between loyalty to his mother and his desire to get to know his extended family. He has been texting me regularly, as have Emma and James, but I can tell that he is trying to navigate these incredibly complicated emotions and is not sure where to turn. Shortly after all this, I received a cease and desist letter from a lawyer claiming to represent Melissa. The letter demanded that I cut off all contact with her family, accusing me of interfering in her personal affairs and alienating her children. It was a shock, but not entirely unexpected, given the turn of events. Following this, I have had to take some serious measures. First, I have hired my own lawyer. We are currently reviewing the cease and desist letter, and I have been advised not to respond to any of Melissa's communications for the time being. I have also installed security cameras around my property, as suggested by my lawyer, to protect myself in case Melissa tries to pull another one of her stunts. Every interaction I have with her family is now being meticulously documented, in case this turns into a full-blown legal battle. On a more personal note, I have contacted a family therapist who specializes in estrangement and reconciliation. I want to make sure I am doing everything I can to support Emma and Tyler during this difficult time. The situation is so complex, and I know they need guidance beyond what I can offer. I have also been in constant communication with James, trying to figure out how we can help the children navigate this storm. Melissa has been alternating between sending me angry and threatening messages and manipulative and tearful pleas for reconciliation. My lawyer has made it clear that I should ignore her for now, and that's exactly what I'm doing, although it's difficult. Emma, thankfully, has been in touch every day. She is still trying to process her feelings about college and her mother, and I am doing my best to support her without overstepping. I know how fragile the situation is, and the last thing I want is for my words or actions to be used as fuel for Melissa's claims of parental alienation. Tyler is the one who is struggling the most. He has always been the more sensitive of the two, and I can tell he is deeply conflicted. I have been trying to give him space while also letting him know that I am here whenever he needs me. He doesn't deserve to be caught in the middle of this, and it breaks my heart that he feels so divided. James, meanwhile, is exploring the idea of family therapy for himself and the children. He knows they need professional help to process everything that has happened, and I fully support his decision. As for me, I'm hanging in there. This whole situation has been incredibly stressful, but I am committed to being a stable and supportive presence for Emma and Tyler. They need stability right now, and I am determined to give it to them no matter what happens with Melissa. I will continue to keep everyone updated as things develop. Their support has been a lifeline for me, and I cannot thank them enough for being by my side during this chaotic and painful time. Update 3. Hi everyone. As things continue to unfold, James has officially moved into his new apartment and taken Tyler with him. After all, he realized that he couldn't leave Tyler alone with Melissa, especially with how erratic her behavior had become. The last few weeks had been unbearable for Tyler. Between Melissa's emotional outbursts and her constant guilt-tripping about James leaving, he had reached his breaking point. James knew it was best to get Tyler out of that environment before he caused himself any more harm. They are slowly settling in, and although Tyler is still shell-shocked, there is a sense of relief now that they are away from the chaos. Meanwhile, Emma has made the brave and exciting decision to attend my alma mater. We have been working together on all the preparations, from reviewing accommodation options to choosing courses. She is still processing everything related to her mother, but this step forward is a bright spot for her amidst all the turmoil. I couldn't be prouder of her strength and her commitment to her future despite all the upheaval at home. James has assured her that, whatever happens, he will support her financially and emotionally, something that Melissa had failed to do while pressuring her to follow a different path. As for Melissa, things with her have escalated to a new level. The previously frantic text messages have become a constant stream of messages, apologies, tearful pleas for forgiveness, and promises of change. One moment she is begging to make things right. The next she is venting her frustration and guilt. She has sent messages to me, to James, and even to her children, alternating between blaming us and trying to convince us that she is ready to make amends. The emotional roller coaster has not stopped, and although part of me wants to believe that she is sincere, my husband, our extended family, and I all agree that Melissa needs to work this out for herself. There is an entrenched pattern to her behavior that will not be solved by temporary apologies. We have decided to keep our distance for now, not only for our own peace of mind, but for the well-being of the children. Emma and Tyler deserve a sense of stability, something that Melissa is currently unable to provide. It has been difficult to watch her spiral downwards, but we realize that we cannot save her from herself. This is Melissa's battle, and it is a long overdue reckoning for the years of manipulation and estrangement that she has caused. In some ways, it feels like karma catching up with her, and although I still care for her like my sister, I know that stepping back is the only healthy option. James and I have been in constant communication, supporting each other as we help the children navigate their new lives. Emma and Tyler are now in regular therapy, something that James set up immediately after moving Tyler in with him. Emma's sessions have been helping her to overcome her guilt at disobeying her mother, while Tyler is slowly finding a way to express the mixture of emotions he has been bottling up for years. The therapist suggested that family sessions for all three of them might also help in the future, but for now, they are focused on individual healing. In my conversations with Emma and Tyler, I am trying to provide the kind of calm and stability that they have lacked for so long. We are establishing a routine of catching up through calls and occasional visits, which has brought us closer than I ever expected. There is still a lot for them to process, and I am being mindful not to overwhelm them with too much family history, but we are taking it one step at a time. Looking back on it all, I have to say that I am so proud of how far Emma and Tyler have come. Emma will finally get to go to the university of her dreams, and I am confident that Tyler will also be able to move past the situation with his father. My husband has been my rock through all of this, and together we have learned how important it is to set clear boundaries, not just with Melissa, but for our own sanity. In the end, I don't know what the future holds for Melissa, but I sincerely hope she finds the help she needs. As for Emma and Tyler, they are on their way to building the lives they deserve, and I feel privileged to be part of their journey. Our little family is moving forward, and despite the challenges, there is a sense of hope for what is to come. Thank you all for your unwavering support during this difficult time. I will be sure to update if anything changes, but for now, we are focusing on healing and looking forward to brighter days.